Hi everyone, today is Thursday, September 28th, 2023, and this week I am featuring Salazar, one of our Morelia Bredli. Not knowing him at first and realizing he needed much more space than the enclosure he arrived with, I started letting him out for exercise initially in a 6 foot by 3 foot by 2 foot mesh tent. But once I got to know him better, I started to let him out and roam around the room while I worked. Now I'm going to show some videos taken over the last 3 months while I tell you about Salazar, or Sal for short. He is 12 years old. He's a striped Bredl's python, Morelia Bredli. They're also called Centralian pythons. They are a non-venomous constrictor snake native to the area in and around Alice Springs, Australia. Here is his story, how he came to live here, and what we were told about him. I was checking the reptiles section of our local classified ads to see what the average going price was for enclosures because I was about to list some for sale. Well, all things reptile come up when you're in those classifieds, including animals. And I saw this Morelia Bredli on the classified ads, and it appeared that he had been listed there for a while, 1 or 2 months if I remember correctly. Well, first of all, it's very unusual to see a Bredli listed for rehoming, and I was very surprised the ad had been active for so long. So I contacted the person who posted him for rehoming to find out if it was a mistake, if he had in fact already been rehomed, or if they were still trying to find him a home, and yes, they were. The family had obtained Salazar from Bob Clark Reptiles in 2011 as a hatchling. One of the employees there said that this one Morelia Bredli hatchling had arrived with a shipment of blood pythons. So these people decided that they would bring Salazar home and add him to their family. And at that time, they did have other snakes, but they eventually only kept Salazar. So the family moved to Colorado with Salazar, and at that time, he was their only snake. And he was their only snake at this time when I met them and when they brought him to live here with me. So when he was a hatchling in 2011, they built him a custom 3x3 enclosure with ledges, a place for overhead lighting and heat, and a tile section on the bottom that was heated at night. So the reason they wanted to rehome Salazar is they were going to be moving out of their house and into an RV, which would not have room for Salazar or his enclosure. And they've been trying to find the right person to rehome him to, someone familiar with Bredli or at least someone who had experience with medium to large pythons. They hadn't found anybody so far that they felt was a suitable home for him. I was very happy to meet them and meet Salazar, and I was very happy to have them leave Salazar with me. Since Morelia Bredli are my favorite snake, I have tons of experience with them. We already have several here. So they felt comfortable leaving him here with me. And they delivered him along with his enclosure on June 25th, 2023, which is about 3 months ago. If you can't tell from watching the video by now, Salazar is about 6.5 feet long. He's very active, and he shows a preference for roaming. He likes to get out and move around. He likes to explore. He had a really nice enclosure with some great features, so I didn't want to take that away from him. Plus, he had lived in it since he was a hatchling. And after 12 years, he's obviously used to it. So I decided rather than move him, I would just build an extension onto it. I cut a pass-through from his old enclosure into a 4x2x2 brand new enclosure that I placed adjacent to it. So this gives him a 7-foot long enclosure with one portion being 2 feet high and one portion being 3 feet high. It's working out really well. However, Sal still likes to come out and explore. In fact, he likes to come out and explore every night if I let him. So Sal had been eating live rats his entire life. They had only ever fed him live feeders. He was just entering an ecdysis cycle when he arrived back in June, and they had just fed him a few days before bringing him here to me. So he didn't need to eat for a while. After he shed, I paired a frozen thawed rat with a training target for his very first feeding here. Keep in mind, he had only ever eaten live. He'd never eaten frozen thawed before, and he took it without hesitation. He also did a similar training session at our veterinarian's office during his wellness check there, and he's been eating medium frozen thawed rats about once a month and learning to target train at the same time. This has gone very smoothly with no issues whatsoever. Sal is a very docile snake, and he has been no problem to manage. He lets himself out of his enclosure, and when it's time for him to go back, he's been fine with me picking him up and putting him away. He also has put himself away a couple of times, just all on his own. When he's finished exploring, he's gone back into his original enclosure and curled up on one of his shelves. I really enjoy spending time with Salazar, and I find it very satisfying to watch him roam and explore. He has even taken some walks with me outside on the ranch. His name is from Harry Potter, after the character Salazar Slytherin. I didn't even name him that. His previous family did, and I like the name, so he is still Salazar here. Well, everybody, please enjoy watching Sal on some of his roaming adventures in one of my work areas. And until next time, please remember to always be kind and love your animals.